Hello. Now let's do the demo with the assignment for CSS and SAS that we had started about earlier on. So this is the CSS practice page we created earlier. We want to go back to that and start answering these four questions. Okay. So let's bring up the code we're at. The last lesson, which is just here, HTML, and this is the file we saved for HTML. So I'm going to show you the corresponding HTML output and also what we want to now have when we use CSS to with this one. So this is what we had. Okay, you can see that table there. This is what we had with that code we saw just now. Now this is what we will have. We will make it bigger, we'll blow it up by increasing the width and the height using using HTML tags and CSS. And then we also, by the time we answer all the questions, we will have this here. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, to code all of this using CSS, answering the questions. So we'll go back to Notepad, and I'll tell you something about Notepad, which I started to say is good for hand coding. But by the time we've done this, we would have had enough experience with hand coding because it's a part of this lesson, this crash course lesson, that hand coding will not do it. We will need to use an editor, an IDE, integrated development environment, that's what it's called. And that's for compiling SAS. So that's it. Okay, now what we need to do is save this. Save this as where it is right now, but instead we're going to call it 1.3 underscore CSS um, dot HTML, and we're going to change this to all files so that we're still on that desktop. Okay, so we can find it there. So we save that there. Save. You now see it here. Okay. Now what we need to now do is start changing this using CSS. We go to the first question. Style the header with the CSS element or group of elements. Okay, so the header is here, essentially table header, right? So this is where we increase the, first of all, let's increase the size. Table header, so we give it the width equals let's say 800. I want to make it big, yeah, so we can see what we're doing. And width and height equals 600. Okay, so that's that one. We also want, one thing I must say is in CSS, rather in HTML, there's a header involved as well. So you got the HTML tags, you got the head and the body, which are the sections, main sections. Okay. Now within the head, we can put the title there, or we can put the title before the head. But the main thing is the head part is where all the code goes. All the included code, such as scripts, such as CSS, such as links, and then the body, inside the body tag is what is presented to what's rendered. That's what we call the rendering or displayed to the user on the web user. So the head tag now, I'm going to add it for the sake of we're going to put some CSS in there, some CSS code in there, and so it's needed. I can I can ignore it if I want to, and that's why I not included before, so that you know the purpose of what happened to head tag. So head open tag, close tag. Okay. I'm going to put that there, give it a space so you can know exactly where it is. So give another space. So the head tag is there. Let me go one in, and inside the head tag is where we want to put CSS. Okay. So CSS we put styles, style open close, tag. So style. Oops. So we got that there now. So whatever you write in there, we're going to write CSS in here. Whatever code you write in there will be encoded. I will style this page. So we have a tag th. We want to style that one. So we put th space open parenthesis or bracket, open curly bracket, sorry, close curly bracket. Okay, this is writing CSS space uh, like that. Now this is how we write CSS, and inside of that we now put in whatever we want for the table header. So for the table header now, we could have just said um, first of all we want to give it a height. We want to give it a height of, so that it is a percentage. We want to give it a height of we want to give it a height of 100. We want to give it a width. Remember, or maybe I should take you to where I got where you can realize how to write code. We want to give it a width of 100%. Okay. Now, I should say not 100. It should be 100 pixels, and this one should be percentage. Okay. So that's that one. So we also want to give it a color of I could actually instead of just putting the hex code, I could actually just write it in. I want to keep it very close to convention, so you're not confused. Okay, and also you can also ask questions at any time. So this is the color for kind of tan or creamy tan, but only experience will teach you that one later on. So I've given it some properties of height, width, and color, which I'll show you in a bit. You will see for yourself. For TH, right? So this is TH there. So I've just given these properties so that I can show it. So let's save this. This is answering the first one now. and um, so this is what we have now. Um, this is what it says now, and I will explain to you why that is the case. But this is not what we want. So let's go back and realize why this is the case. This is the case because there's supposed to be a span, call span, which is not there. So I will add a call span now. Call span, which means the column has to be spanned across three cells. Okay, that's what that means. So um, so add call span there and save it. Okay, you can see that one's at the top now. The color is not helping, so I will change the color from that to black so that we can see what is shown there. Okay, so change to black. So you can see now. So table header is there, but this is taking up the total space as the table header. So it's not yet recognizing the call span properly. So this is TH is actually a type of row. So that's one row, and this is another row. Oh yeah, okay, I see what the problem is now. So this width and this up to here should not be there. It should be here. Should be in the table. Okay, not in the table header. So because that table, these properties are for this particular tag, not for the whole table, just for this tag. So let's save this now, see what the difference is. Okay, that's a little bit better, but it's still not what we want. So, because the core is supposed to look like this, okay? But now it's looking totally different. So let's go back there. Um, and realize what's causing the problem. Okay, so this call span that we got here, instead of it being part of CSS, it should be part of the HTML. So we delete it there. Just remove the whole line. And then put it in here, in the TH, there. And save. Let's see if this will do it for us. And then let's go and have a look. Let's have a closer look. Okay, if you notice, we just copied the CSS here and pasted it here, but it's still in CSS format. In other words, call span for HTML, you don't use colon for values. You use the equal sign. And then you must put it in the value in quotes. So if we save this now as it is, it should work. So let's save it. And now let's have a look at what we got. There you go. So it's got the three columns are here now, and we've got the table header there. So we got three columns. So this is the first of our assignment. So let's validate that style the header with CSS element or group of elements. So we got that done. Okay. Okay. So style the middle table to have gradients and include some animation. Okay, so we're going to do that now. Middle table to have gradients. So there was something I was going to show earlier, which is about CSS. So let's go back to for putting the colors. So CSS, this is CSS syntax to start with. Okay, so you see color. The selector H1. So in this case, the selector was TH. In our case, TH. So put that there. Then declaration, the color. Then you put the value, which is blue. So you see if that column I mentioned earlier. And then you must put a semicolon to indicate that that's the end of that line or the end of that instruction. And the next line of instruction is, for this syntax example, is font size, then it says colon, then the value, which is 12. So the property here is font size, you got the value, which is 12 pixels, and then of course the end of it, which is the semicolon. All of this must be in inside of curly brackets. So this is another example. P is for the selector, which is paragraph. Curly brackets, you got color, red, text aligned center. So if you look at that one, you will get to see the paragraph is aligned to the center, but we're not going to open that with that one. Now, we got background color, you got colors. Uh, so this is how you put background colors in there. So light blue in that particular case. So if we go back to our example, if you notice, I put color for that for there. So I want to change this now, the color to white, and put the background color to colon, and then I can just put blue directly. Okay, and then semicolon to end the instruction. I save. And we can see, if we refresh that, see that? So that's how I just wanted to show you that one, how you can, based on your assignment or your instruction or your programming code, you now go and search for how to change or make it better. So remember, what we're trying to do is something to this. We're trying to get this, okay? So it's saying green here, and this one is red, okay? So for now, let's just leave the background color as it is, but let's change the color to red and make this radius, include the border radius, okay? So border radius, to get border radius and directly what you want, you can even Google it or just put it in search border radius. So you got the CSS border radius property. Click on that, and you see border radius, and that's how uh, you can get what you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to actually copy both of these border radius and just paste it in R1, which is, so I'm not going to make it 25, I'm going to make R1 10. Okay, don't want the border radius to be too huge. And I'm going to make the border, I'm going to make the border blue, and the background color, I'm going to make it tannish cream. So save that. Okay, sorry, that must have a hash there. Save it, and we have that. Okay, yes, I should also change the color from white to blue. Okay, which I could have done also to make for blue, which is hash 000 4 zeros then FF, that's blue. Okay, but I'm just going to type it in directly now. So save that one, and then so you see table header is there right there. So that's the first one sorted out properly. Okay, it's actually different from what we did, but it looks just as nice as you can see here. For now, well, I will change it. When we do the answer, the last question, the fourth one, we'll use the variable to change the color, just like it says. Okay. So let's go to the second question, which is so CSS gradients. So this is CSS. So you've got different kind of gradients, right? So the kind of gradients we have in our example is left to right. So let's use that one of red to blue. Yeah. So left to right, that's left to right. Yeah. So what we should do, this is the syntax. Gradient, the direction, the color stop on the color, the second color. Okay. So that's how it works. So we want to do it like this. For example, you got linear gradient red to yellow, right? And you got to right, two right, red, yellow. So there are different ways of formatting it, and even include angles. But we just want to Just want it straight, simple. So let's do this one, left to right, okay? So we copy this one whole thing here and go to our code, and inside the style, we add this um, CSS. Okay, we save what we want. Uh, want from, so the direction is to right, yeah. And in our case, we want from red to blue, not yellow. So we move that one and put blue there. Okay, it's a linear gradient. So we save this, and we've got, where is it there? Okay, we've got that there, but we haven't changed. So let's go back to the code, and inside of the, where it says, where you see we've got, great, we've got a hash there. What I should say is the hash there, hash grad, indicates an ID. So the ID for this middle one is the one we want to put the gradient on. We're going to put TD instead of background color. We're going to give it an ID. ID equals, in quotes, grad. Now this will now reference what's in here. Now, if you realize this tag, TH, is what's calling everything here, we are now calling everything here using the ID. We cannot, later on, I'll show you in another one how to use a class to call, to write instructors with a class and then call it here. Of course, later on, through experience or through you studying the instructions carefully in intermediate schools, you will get to be more fluent with how to manipulate CSS or SCSS. So yeah, so let's save this and go back to here and save, and then you can see we now got red to blue in the middle, right? Which is not far off from what we have here. Okay, so that's the second part of the question answered. So the animation, I'll quickly show you what we can do for animation. Okay, this is gradient. So for animation, we got, again, you can just search for CSS animation. And you see different kind of examples. Okay, and the browser supports. So yeah, so if you look at this piece of code here, as an example of how the animation code works, you can see you use at keyframes, which is what you use to define where the the parts of the code where the animation starts and stops and how much of it. So you see our keyframes, we name it, in this case, example, we're going to name one practice, okay? And you got the percentage of the colors that should be at 0%, 25%, 50%, 100% of it should be at these colors, the amount of color, okay? Also, um, in this where there is reference, the particular div or table or table header or table row, the part of the place where the part of the code or the page where this animation will take place is inside of there where the CSS is being written. You add animation name there, which is what you named here. You now name it again. You now include the name so it knows where to find it, and you include how much time this animation would take. So in this particular case, we're going to need this whole piece of code here, and then we'll give it the animation name and the animation duration in the th section of CSS. Okay, so animation hyphen name and animation hyphen duration. We need both of those. Okay, so let's go back to our code now. Copy this. Um, okay, so um, we we include this here. So the animation name in this case is practice, which is keyframe practice. And then here in TH, like we mentioned just now, we add a colon here to enter instruction. And then animation hyphen name is practice, and animation duration is 4 seconds. So you end that on there, and you save to get the animation working. So everything you just done now, this will capture practice. This will capture the practice, okay? Because named here, and then what's in TH will be captured here and actually represented in TH here. So we're going to see it in table header, okay? So save, and let's go back to our page. Okay, just to make sure animation name and animation duration is correct. Let's make sure the 4 seconds is there. See, we did not put so 4. Okay, 4 seconds. Okay, so we save again. And we now come back here and refresh. So you see the animation is taking place there. It's changing color. Okay, and so that is the second part of the question of the assignment is done. Now the third part. Let's go to the third part now. The third part is give example of changing three properties like background color, image size, and border. Well, that's exactly what we've done now. We change the background color. Um, As for image size, we've also changed the border. As for image size, I'll show you. We're going to have an image size in a bit. Um, Let me show you. See, in background image, in the foreground, for the gradient, we have to use background image as we have to use it as an image. So essentially, it is an image. It captured it as an image, even though it's not an image. So that, and this is just how you will reference any image you want uh, to uh, to be shown on your page. The only difference is you have to actually put the source. So background image, and there will now be a source to where the image is, which is somewhere on your computer. You can find it. Okay. So I just wanted to show you there how images work. Background image are referenced and found on your computer and shown on the web page like so. So okay, that's the third one answered already. As for the border to solid blue, that we actually added that earlier. Okay. So the fourth one now, which is the SAS. Okay. So let's go to SAS. Um, so say use a SAS mixing to output background color green, and border solid blue. We've already got the border, so we don't need to worry about the border anymore. But we need to see that we need to use, as mentioned earlier, SAS is you can use variables to control from the back end what is shown on the front end using SAS. So I'm going to give you an example of how this works, so you now know how to manipulate CSS. Um, to start with, I will take you to a page that will show you exactly um, how to install a SAS compiler. And this is where you will need an IDE, Integrated Development Environment, or an advanced form of a HTML editor, as opposed to just Notepad, because Notepad will not be able to do it for you. You can use VS Code, which is what I'm going to use here, or you can use brackets. There are many. Atom is also there, Dreamweaver, IDEs, but for choice, I'm going to use um, VS Code. Okay, so let me take you to the web page we're going to use for this. So, so, um, so you should install this Google Live SAS compiler. That would that would compile your SCSS files into CSS files that you can use, which you can because what happens essentially is you write your code in SAS, which is save it as an SCSS file. What happens there is it is compiled or transpiled into CSS by this compiler and in a location that can be found by your web page. And this web page is, this CSS file is referenced in your code, is attached as a linked in your code, which I will show you inside the head, which I'll show you. But the exact compilation of the SSS to save the SSS file to CSS is done automatically for you. So the instructions for making this happen are here. So I'm not going to go through VS Code and show you how to install it or not install it. There are many other compilers for SAS, but the main thing is just to get it compiled. So if you have VS Code, all you need to do is go to the extensions and type in press F1, which is, I'll show you here. just press F1 here. And then if you put there like this one, live SAS, and you are able to find whatever you're looking. When you click on it, it now starts it up. But before then, you probably need to get the extension. So you click on here. That's if you don't have the extension. But there's one way to find out if you have the extension or not. And you search there, say live SAS, and this whatever is there, it shows up for you. So in this case, I got one here which is cancelled, which means it is deprecated, and I got another one here. So I click on that one. You can see it's already enabled, but I can disable it. So this is the what you saw earlier. Okay, so once you've installed that, now you've written up your code, which I am going to show you how the SSS the file is written up. It is written up because it is not, we can save it as, oh, that's something I'm trying to tell you. Now this whole file that's here, this is internal right now, okay? But everything that's in here is internally inline, okay? But it can actually be saved as an external file. So I could just copy all of here to here, copy it, and create a new file, paste it there, and call it save as, and it will now be 1. So just do that. So I will now call it 1.3 SCSS, right? SCSS 1.3 SCSS dot SCSS. When I save it like that, that's a file on its own that I can now call up in a VS Code, and it will run it to recognize it as CSS and run it and return a CSS file. And then that CSS file is what's compiled, okay? So I will show you an example of it. Or if I open this page on its own and then open this whole page on its own and then uh, still run it, compile it, it will also compile it and return a CSS file exactly at the same level, on the root level, so that it can be found. So that's so let's go into the actual coding of the mixing. Okay, so mixing, first of all, we need to find out what are mixins. So mixins, um mixin, so CSS mixing, okay, put that there. So this is SAS mixins. The mixing directory lets you create CSS code that is used that can be reused throughout the site. The include directory is created to let you use include in the mixing, okay? And this is the syntax. So study this closely. So once you declare the mixing, just like the keyframe, you name it, mix it, mixing, put add mixing, the name, property value, and then this is what we don't look like. In this case, important text, right? Color is red, font size 25. So whatever this variable is can be manipulated both inside the file or outside of the file, front end or back end. And this is the include syntax. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy this mixing here as an example for us, and we're going to include it in our one. So we under the keyframes, we now um, under the keyframes, we now add that one there to this so we can see what we're doing. So so these are the directives, and we instead of important text, let's call it programmer. Okay, mixing, we're calling it programmer. Okay, and these are the directives for the mixing to be so what we want to do is what we want to do uh, is we want to make the background green instead. Okay, and so and using this directive as it is shown here, let's copy this. It says CSS and add this here. So what we call programmer here, we're going to call it programmer here. And remember the background color is green, and so wherever it sees the danger class, it will do exactly that. So where would we want to put the danger class now? We want to put it inside of the th. Okay, so this is where I mentioned class earlier. So when you see the dot there, which is another way of declaring class, that's an indication it's a class. Okay, selector is class. If you see the hash in front of it, that is an ID. So these are ways to reference whatever we want in CSS, okay, or SCSS. So in this case, in TH, we're going to put here class equals danger. So you see how it links, how it links um, that mixing, this mixing with this include. The include here is the background color. Sorry, the include here is what we call programmer, okay? And the programmer is everything here. Okay, so let's change it uh, from programmer to something else. Say critical. Okay, so we now know this is critical info instead. Call it critical info, and we could add any other kind of information in there. We're just giving it background color green now. So the mixing is um, the color has to be red for whatever text. The font size has to be 25. The font weight has to be bold, and the border is solid blue, which is already solid blue. But we're now changing it from let's change it to 3 instead of 1 because it's 2 above there. Let's make it 3 so that it becomes clear to us what's happening. So 3 pixels is solid blue. Okay, so we save this. We save this and we have a look at what we have. Um, okay, it's there, but we've not compiled it, so it won't show now. So to compile it, we go back in here and we go to, like I mentioned earlier, we go to the files anyway. So we're going to desktop, which is desktop here, and we open this. Okay, let's open so that we can see what's happening in the terminal. And we now open press F1. Okay, um, click live SAP, click that, no, what happened? Okay, so live SAP watch. Okay, so now it's getting ready to see what's happening. Okay, so we now, if we save it, it's watching now. Okay, so what happens is we now make an SSS file or whatever I do here. So okay, there's something else we did not do, which is, let's go back here. And inside of head, outside of the style, we have to reference a CSS file. Okay, so we now say open tag, close tag, link, link, um, so this is it. So you see, you copy this whole line. There are many variations of this, but I want you to use this particular incremental way of learning. Okay, So you now paste this in here. You paste that in there like so. Paste that in there like so, and so the relative style sheet and the CSS, the name of this sheet, the name of the file is added there. So in this particular case, we're going to call it 1 point, and it should just automatically default to that anyway because it just removes the first S there in the SCSS. 1.3 SCSS 1.3 hyphen SCSS dot CSS. That's what it will be. Because remember, this file we're saving is dot SCSS. So you just remove the so it becomes a CSS file instead of a CSS file. So once we add that there, we save this because that's important. And then now we now compile it here. Okay, which that file does not exist now. But by the time we finish writing this, it will exist. By the time we finish clicking on go to compile it, it will now exist. So and the way we do that, because watching, it will just click save. Once we click save, it will automatically compile it and show it here. Okay, so you see, it now has a CSS file, which is this file here. Okay, mapped out already. So I think I've shown you what I wanted to really show you by doing it this way. Okay, so if we now go back to our file, we should see the green, as you can see now. So we answered all three questions, all four questions now. And practice, practice, practice. That's how this will become perfect. So this is supposed to be a very short module, but it is taking longer to show you just about CSS and SCSS. Remember, there are two of them. There's SAS and there's just CSS. So it's been about an hour of that, but very well worth it. And reference for you to check up and continue to where you were. So let's continue with right. So we've done that now. So what we covered CSS and SAS. How to use CSS and SAS. We've done the demo with the assignment. Okay. So thank you. So now you can proceed to the next video in the series. My name again is Greg Ekato of Debonair Training, and you can contact us by email or directly on the website. Contact us. Thank you very much for your time.